Timo, welcome up from OptiPerform. Stage is yours.
No. Okay, thank you. You can check me up on LinkedIn. I will spend as much time as possible on trying to cover the topic. What goes on? Is it fast enough? What do we need to do? Why are we here? To start with, I think we should look at ourselves. We have seen during the day so far that it's a matter of how we work. Humans, of course, but also machines. If we look at our everyday tasks, we do simple stuff like moving things from one side to another, papers or tasks, whatever. Also complex stuff. Complex means that you are working with a budget, for instance. It's a lot of data, but the input is given, and also the output format is 100% given and designed by people. We have this report. We have a lot of data, and the source data need to be ordered in a way that I can reach that output. The complex stuff is what goes on in here. It cannot be done by machines, digital machines. It can only be done by humans. Drinking coffee, interacting, listening, talking. So there is an important division between these parts. And what's above the line is where we are still competitive. What's below the line is where digital machines will take over our jobs, which is good. Why does it matter? Because we have our businesses. What's the focus when we talk digital? Is it saving cost? Or is it the revenue side? Could also be external in terms of saving someone else's costs or helping someone else to increase their revenues. We have a lot of acronyms, and we've seen that during this day so far. We are zooming in now more and more on what do these acronyms actually mean to me. Artificial intelligence, fancy stuff. Maybe relevant, maybe not. But there are things in this toolbox that are very important to us. We just need to know which are they. IoT, for instance, one big buzzword being used today. Many other ones. Well, imagine a garage, for instance, where you have the shelf with all the tools. You know where they are, you know how to use them. Now we have a garage different from the ones we used to have. We also have a lot of new tools that we can use for what we don't know yet. So we have to try to organize our garage in a new way. Maybe not buying all the tools at once, starting with one or two, and then doing everything from supporting your new ideas, supporting your creative work, to the bricks and mortar stuff. We need bricks and mortar stuff as well. I think this is one aspect of digitization today, which is still very fuzzy, very messy. So, what is it like in the companies we meet? I'm an entrepreneur. I have met almost all aspects of digitization in the real estate and property industry. I also work with retail, manufacturing, so not only retail, not only property and real estate. We are still in the early days, I would say. When we meet companies like the ones you met a few minutes ago, still, I think many of them have the existing way of working, the old way of working, and they are trying to implement new technology. That's not possible. There's always something stopping you. You may have a board or a top management team having visited events like this, and when you get back home, you meet your IT department. It stops. Or it could be an IT department with a great vision, but with a top management level saying that well, we need to do certain other things first. So to be able to proceed, we need to address the way we face these opportunities. If the IT department is a problem, do not talk to the IT department. And vice versa. That's difficult because it's your job, it's your paycheck. If I'm an IT manager or responsible for some digital new interesting stuff, and the CEO says to you that you're not allowed to do that, you quit or you challenge. That's what happens right now. And this is how disruption starts. You can decide to do it yourself, or you can wait for someone else to do it, internally or externally. The complex things, that's where creativity is, where ideas are. How many of you feel that you are creative at work in this complex context? All week, or Tuesday to Friday, or Friday? Or do you have to call your family on Friday evening to say, I'm sorry, I'm still in a budget or transaction or some other kind of important process, so you have to dine on your own. I'm coming back home later. The problem with our existing ways of working is that we reach that point too late, too often. We need to address that. Data is driving development. We have heard that already today. If you don't believe it, Gartner says it. And then it's a truth, right? So how can we then start doing more? I picked a few examples from my everyday life to illustrate what is real and what's efficient. The first one, a property company, one of the listed biggest real estate owners. They said a few things. The management team says that we build our houses twice. It's too expensive. And farther down the road, they said that we have a connection saying 1 technician, 1 hour every day, just to see what's my duties today. Find information about what I'm going to do today. We added some new fresh technology, technology that's looking at the stack from Amazon, AWS, could be Azure as well. An amount of components available in the open source market, ranging from databases and search engines to small components interpreting PDFs to see are there any Cyrillic characters. That's not anything you put on the desk of your IT department. That's readily available. What's important here? Well, firstly, of course, people enter the peak of the pyramid faster, but they can serve the customer 55 minutes more per hour than they were able to do before they started working this way. How does it transform? Well, the managers and the organization, they have their KPIs and they know the asset value and how it's connected to lower costs, of course. It's a listed company. Is it important or not? Matthew, you talked about it earlier. That's why it's important. But also it could be an external perspective. Could mean that it's a hard FM company pitching on this company saying that we can do this in 5 minutes instead of 55 minutes. Is that a competitive advantage or not? I guess it is, right? Another one, GDPR, more administrative. Could be budgets, could be transactions, could be something more administrative. It's a topic very high up on the agendas now in all companies. A people-driven approach would be that you bring in a lot of legal experts, consultants, and you do the work. A data-driven approach could mean that you dig into data. You use all available tools to see what's in there. Up front, you front load the process, meaning that what's below the line is done by machines, and people can start working at an instant. We have a case where a traditional systems vendor providing these systems was asked, can you help us? And they came back with an offer saying around 30,000 euros. With this kind of big data advice, we could do it in 2-3 hours. Sorry, 2-3 days. The machine was digging the data. Is it a competitive advantage or not? Of course it is. If you would be a consultant saying that I need 300,000 to do this, and someone else would say, I can run my device for 2-3 hours, 2-3 days. Of course, that's an advantage. So, we think it's possible to start doing things now. I'd like to share what we are doing with whom later on, not now. But that's at least hopefully some inspiration on how to look at digital transformation.
Thank you. It triggers some questions about the sort of, can I do this and can I do this? Or do I need this or this? And I think often it gets stuck, the new little thing versus the sort of the core business where you know you'll save money or make money and so forth. And I sometimes, play around with that question. Somebody says, you have to do this or that. And I said, excuse me, sir, are you a father? Yes, I am. Oh, I feel sorry for your children. What do you mean? Are you either a good CEO or a good father? Do you have 2 kids? Are you either a good father for one or not the other? So we managed to see that we can do different things in other areas, but when it comes to management, we're often getting stuck in the core business. Do you recognize that? And how can we get people out of that and make the new thing as interesting as the old thing?
I think playing and looking at our private lives, our children, for instance, it's excellent because whatever we do, we have our smartphones. Some of you are taking pictures, some of you are doing other stuff. I don't know, and that's fine. It's easy. There are no consultants, no waterfall projects. No, we need to do this and that first, and then see what happens. You need to fulfill a gap. You need to fill a gap. You get an app on a device you already have, and you get going. And that's how it works now, also in business to business. If you use in a more opportunistic way the things that are actually available. We're a startup. We were invited by these companies because they wanted a startup and that kind of inspiration. And one of the questions was, what can we do on Monday? What I showed you is possible to do on Monday if we decide to do it today.
Yeah. So just to conclude on the topic, it is for real. It's happening right now.
Yes.
Thank you very much.